That's a nice intro. So, welcome to the blockchain panel. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Diana. I'm the former ecosystem lead for Cosmos. Cosmos is one of the biggest blockchain ecosystem in the world. I used to work for the Interchain Foundation till last year. I was leading over 25 blockchain teams, a treasury of over $40 million. Last year, I came back to Romania. I'm Romanian. I came back to Romania and I started building the blockchain builders community here in Romania. And what we are doing, we are like the full vision is to unite the entire Eastern Europe blockchain community. Right now, we are the biggest blockchain community in Romania, the tech community, I'm meaning. We have over 600 people, like experts in our community. We have partnerships with Solana Foundation, Ethereum Foundation, Polygon Labs. Those are like basically the biggest organizations in the world in blockchain. And basically we are here at PRAO conference because we want to share about the blockchain technology and basically trying to explain what blockchain is and how it's useful for our world. Together with me, I invited like some amazing builders and founders of Romanian and outside Romanian like experts that they would be talking about, and like all of us will be sharing like real world use case of blockchain technology. So maybe we can start with like some short intros. I already told you a bit about myself, and maybe starting with Amir, you can, I don't know, share a bit about yourself.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Amir Rezai. Thank you so much for joining our talk. I started my journey as an engineer back in 2014. After a couple of years, I transitioned slowly to product management. Around 2020-21, I came across Bitcoin, and everyone was talking about it. My friend reached out to me, and he said, if you put your money into it, it will skyrocket, which it did, and then went down. I lost all my money. But then throughout those periods, I started to educate myself more on the use cases of blockchain, how it's actually helping and how it will evolve. So I worked at two companies in the past, I would say 3 to 4 years. One was TrustSwap, where we have different products, like it was an all-in-one company, from token creation to token lock and liquid lock. And recently I've been working at Bondex, where we are trying to build the next trusted Web3 professional platform. And I will explain a little bit more about Bondex a bit later.
Hi, my name is Raluca Negra. I am a co-founder and head of operation of Build21, which is a real estate company. I'm in the crypto world since 2019, but I'm on blockchain and understanding this technology for like 3 years. We are using blockchain as technology in our business, which is a real estate development company. We are building in the real world 21 high-quality real estate projects, and we use the technology, the blockchain technology, to tokenize the contracts, the investment contracts that we sign with middle and small investors that want to join us as investors. And we also embrace blockchain as a technology and use it a lot to operate with our communities. The experts that are building, the investors, and the residents, people living in the buildings that we do.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexandru Gazdak. I'm the co-founder of Hype Consulting, where we started back 3 years as a normal traditional crypto agency. We are building tokens and NFTs. Then we found our niche, and that is leveraging the blockchain technology for traditional Web2 industries, where we can tackle their hardships and challenges that they are facing by using distributed ledgers.
Cool. Hello, my name is Marius. I'm the co-founder of QED Builders, a company that I co-founded 5 years ago. We started as a traditional software company, and then we moved our focus into Web3 technologies. Our team of 20 is working in the sandbox. We are handling everything from avatar collections, marketplaces, and smart contracts. A bit of context, Sandbox is one of the largest metaverses out there. In short, we develop smart contracts and DApps for them. Outside of work, I'm really a sport fan, especially boxing, and I'm trying to promote the sport as much as I can. Thank you.
Lovely, yeah. We jumped into what we are doing, maybe assuming that everyone knows what's blockchain. Okay, maybe we do a small exercise. Who knows what's blockchain? Kind of. Kind of. Maybe, yeah, maybe we just do a round of table. It's like, what's blockchain? Maybe Marius, you can start, like in one sentence or like a
Sure.
couple of.
One sentence. So it is too loud. To me, blockchain is like HTTP, but for money. And I'll explain you why. HTTP is just a protocol for transferring text, but is running our world. If you have a browser on your phone or your computer, or maybe your fridge, you are using HTTP. The same is true for the blockchain, which is just a protocol for transferring value. But the beauty here is that this protocol runs on a network of computers, and computers, of course, runs code. In the context of blockchain, that code is called smart contract.
Lovely. Alex, what do you think? What's your take?
For me, blockchain is the next generation of the contracts that we currently have in the world. And I feel like the real power of the blockchain is the fact that you can implement a way of transactioning also value or informations between businesses in a transparent manner and with a set of predefined logic, which you currently find in the contracts, but in a more simple and traceable manner.
Nice. How about you, Raluca?
I would say simple that blockchain is the holy grail of trust. And I will detail it a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will also go with trust, privacy, and access.
Yeah. And what I would add is, so even before that, blockchain is a database in the end, right? It's the next level of databases, like a distributed and decentralized database in the end. And that, because it's a distributed and decentralized and immutable database, it allows to have like built-in capabilities in terms of like privacy, in terms of data flow, in terms of like security and so on. So that's why the blockchain enables like new use cases, or like maybe it enables us to tackle some systemic society problems that right now are addressed in maybe not in most the efficient way. So that's why we are here, basically to talk about. So each of us are working on or trying to resolve some of these systemic society problems. So maybe we can start about actually talking about the use cases that we see already being implemented. Maybe not that much in Romania, because like all of us, actually, blockchain it's a global industry, right? Every of us, it's working like it's here maybe in Romania or like in Hungary or like, but it's working at the international level. So even if we don't see a lot of blockchain talks or like presence in Romania, doesn't mean that there isn't already a revolution happening outside. And it's almost like AI, right? Where the wave is getting built and at some point it's already there without many people knowing that what's happening like for years and years already. So maybe we can talk a bit about the the blockchain and how it resolves like some very real and important problems for the society. And maybe you can do, and I'm having as well a case, but maybe we can start with you, Amir, because it's the low-hanging fruit of the discussion, right? Like, and then we can go, each of us, to tell about the project that we are involved into.
Absolutely. I want to ask the audience to think about this use case. Let's say we are in Europe, there's a freelancer in Nigeria. You want to hire them. You want to send $50. How can you do that? Well, the actual answer is you kind of cannot do that. So we are so much accustomed to think within the European Union, this connectivity, and you can just basically transfer money throughout SEPA. But actually, when you think about like on a global scale, even to this day, still a lot of these bankings are not that much connected, or there's a very high fee when you transfer money. And at the same time, there's also a long period of time. If you, for example, you send $10 to someone within Nigeria, maybe what they will actually receive is $5 or $4. So for me, what I see with blockchain, you can give access to people. I can start to work with someone in Nigeria or Indonesia or anywhere in the world without them actually having any banking system.
Or platform, right? Because someone was saying like Revolut-wise, right? There are some platform already happening, but then again, you will have the fees, the membership, or like whatever subscription that you need to pay, right? For
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about it, there's a lot of these great talents in the world, and you don't have access to them. What they do, they start to come and use these platforms, like a freelancing platform, like Upwork and Fiverr, and even those are very limited. One is they take usually 20 to 30% commission. So what happens, that talent needs to raise the fee of the work. The second thing is that when you work on these platforms and the work is done, it takes usually 2 to 3 weeks for you to receive that amount that you work. And that's also dependent on your banking system because, for example, Upwork sends to Pioneer and Pioneer sends to like your local bank. So all of these are like opportunities that you're basically losing. Then what the alternative is, for example, on blockchain, you can transfer literally millions of dollars with like 20 cents. It doesn't matter, and right away it will be in that person's bank account. You just need to basically establish that trust of work. So for me, this is a great use case of blockchain and technology. Within European Union, we have fintech products like Wise, Revolut. And these are great because they manage to make these transfers much faster, but still to this day, it takes longer time. But blockchain solved this problem many years ago.
lovely. Actually, I'm having like as well. I had Amir and I were talking just before the talk, and I was telling him as well that I try to send some dollars, right? Like I was having I'm using a Romanian bank, and I was receiving dollars, and I wanted to transfer or like pay some vendors, and it was taking me $30 for a transfer, like one single transaction. Where using blockchain, you basically, and it will be taking, like it was taking a couple of days just to arrive to the receiver. With blockchain, exactly, you can send basically in seconds the amount of money with almost zero costs, right? So basically removing all the fees and like the
The middleman definitely increases the cost and definitely lowers the speed. So if we can take out those middlemen, which is what we have in the blockchain, then the quality of the service goes high.
Thanks. How about you, Raluca? I know that you have, like you were saying a bit like before about your project and like how blockchain helps you to.
So I will talk more about how blockchain as technology can be used in the real estate in general. Think about this building. How much do you think costs to buy a building like this one?
Millions, I guess.
How many people do you know that can afford to buy this building? Think about the houses, apartments where you live. How much does it cost to build the homes that you have? how many people can invest, have the money to make those buildings, and you know them. So blockchain in real estate, it's breaking the monopoly. Because right now, there are few amount of people that have the money to invest in real estate, to build it, to own it, to sell it. So what blockchain can do, it's to take the contract that allows you to invest, or even this building, and transform it in a token. It's not that important what is the token, just it's a digital representation of this building. It can have an image, it can have anything. You can make a contract, a token, you can make this building a token. And because you use the blockchain technology, which is a database where you put stuff, you can break this token in small parts, a lot of small parts that are put in this database, where everybody can write, but nobody can change what is written. So you break the contract in a lot of small parts, you break this building in a lot of small parts, and you put this information in a public place that everyone can see. There are a lot of you that can validate that it's true what we see there, and nobody can manipulate that because it's extremely, but extremely expensive to manipulate it and change it. And this way, you can start invest with 1,000 euro, because a development that it's backed up by a contract of investment of 6 million euro can be broken in so many small parts, and anyone can buy a part of this. This is regulated in the real world. If there's any problem, you have a lawyer, you have the judge to go to discuss if there's a problem. And you have a thing that exists in the real world that is backed up by a thing that exists also in the digital world, on the chain, and then can be seen by everybody, verified by everybody. And another case is that works in the real estate. It's, again, I've talked about monopoly. How many people do you know that have the money to buy it? But let's say, I don't know, Lucian here has 6 million and he's buying this building. How quickly he will find somebody else to sell this business, this building, the next one person that has 6 million. Again, if we are breaking this in very small parts, it will be easier to sell small parts of the building and even of the contract, because it's very, very small pieces. And again, what is happening on the blockchain, the transaction of selling your part of the contract to, I don't know, Lucian is selling his part of the contract to Alex. Alex is sending his money back to Lucian. This is happening in an automatic way on the blockchain. And it's a transaction that, again, we see it's public. We don't see what is inside the transaction. They know what is inside the transaction, but we see that transaction is happening. They cannot change it, and we have validated that it's true. So this is how it works in real estate.
Lovely. And basically, you guys right now are building, or like the plan is to build, and you have already started the first project. You are building 21 construction projects here in Romania, and you are funding these buildings by selling them fractionally, like
not the buildings. What we are doing is that we are the developers and we build the building, and we are selling to the people that want to live there. What you can do is that you can become an investor directly with us, the developer. And once we sell that building, we are giving you back profit from the sale that we do. We are tokenizing the contract between us, the developer, and an investor. That can be a unique investor, and the contract will be a huge one. But we can tokenize this contract, make it small parts, and any of you here can buy, I don't know, if you have 1,000 euro, you can buy a part of that contract. It will be recognized in the real world, and once the profit is distributed, you will get your money in your bank account.
interesting use case.
So one of the use cases that I'm working on right now is the supply chain management. Like every one of us is using products. We do have a phone, we do have clouds, we do have cars that we are using. But how many of us do know the life cycle of the raw materials, which in the end are composing the product that we are using? This life cycle, it's very complex, it's very long, and it's taking a lot of time from the raw product for the raw material to end in a product. These supply chains are global. There are a lot of parties involved in the process of building a phone, or even building, or not building, but manufacturing, for example, a soda can, or manufacturing a phone or a piece of cloth. And how many of us know how many of the products that we are building are going to be recycled in the end? So this is one of the changes that we are working right now with one of the biggest manufacturers of beverages in the world. Basically, they do have the need to track the life cycle of their processes from the beginning, buying the raw materials from the provider and suppliers, and manufacturing the product, shipping it, and selling it. And at the end, because of the regulations from different institutions, recycling it. Right now, the ecosystem is there, it's still present, they are doing it, but it's very ineffective. They are using a lot of solutions which don't work properly together. There is a lot of corruption going on, especially in the underdeveloped countries. There are there's a lot of complexity in managing all of these systems to work together and establishing data pipelines between them in order for there to not be any discrepancies between the items which they got from suppliers, items which have been manufactured, and items which have been requested by the shops and delivered by the factories. And basically, blockchain allow us to bring all the parties in a trustful and environment where all the logic between the interactions of the parties, it's open to every member of the ecosystem, and at the same time, all of the steps of the manufacturing process, it's being recorded in an immutable database. And besides that, what is really special about blockchain at the same time in this area is the fact that not only the data it's immutable and traceable in the whole ecosystem, but in the same time, the deals and the agreements between the ecosystem participants are also stored there. So me, as a potential supplier with one of the factories that we are working with, I know for sure how our collaboration is going to happen because of these predefined steps in the blockchain. As I told you, like at the end, blockchain is just a database and a contract. So basically, we transpile these real-world contracts in a digital manner, and every member of the participant have the ability to actually see and visualize all the agreements from all the members of the ecosystem.
Lovely. And I think, so you already mentioned that you guys are actually building a blockchain for like one of the, I guess, one of the biggest company in the world. I would say like...
biggest or second biggest, I think.
Okay. But what I would add is that from my experience, all the major, or like the big corporations of the world right now are experimenting or building pilots or like MVPs with blockchain technology, especially in the supply chain use cases, right? Because exactly it allows you, because we have this, like the blockchain is this transparent, distributed database, it's very easily for everyone in a supply chain to meet there in a very trustable manner, right? Because you cannot change the blockchain, it's secure, everyone can see what's happening. You have like this traceability of like everything on what's happening in the supply chain of the product.
Yeah, basically, that's like the main issues are the following one. There's a lot of data being processed because in order to track everything, you need to like process everything. And when you have maybe millions of transactions every day just from like one supplier or like in one region, then there is a lot of data processing happening behind the scenes. And it's very hard to trace everything because, as I told, different participants are using different systems, and there is a lot of data fragmentation taking place. Like there is a lot of data being lost. They're using traditional methods like Excel sheets or SAP, and not only the data is the problem, like data being lost or fragmented, but also the practices which are taking place among the suppliers and the factories. Like maybe there is corruption going on, maybe there is theft going on, and blockchain allows for every step and every person taking action on the ecosystem, on the blockchain solution, to be recorded and allows in the end for our organization that we work at to trace the people involved in every product that they are manufacturing, and not only all the people, but every step that they have taken in order to manufacture that product. So at the end of the day, we are just providing an overview of the whole supply chain at a very detailed level.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we just enter in like very deeply in like the supply chain, but like from my experience, tracking, auditing the supply chain, and it's usually a challenge, especially for these big corporations where they have like a very long supply chain. I was in the past, I was like working for Procter and Gamble, like, and yeah, I was like handling the supplier portal for like the global supplier portal for Procter and Gamble. And we were having like around 100,000 suppliers across the world, right? Like, yeah, and like it was very interesting to handle them in the entire supply chain. Lovely. Mario.
Sure. First, I want to say that I agree with Raluca. I don't see the blockchain as an alternative to banking systems, or not only that. I see more like an infrastructure, trustless distributed infrastructure. Actually, I had a really good chat outside with someone about the gaming industry and blockchain. Hey, Alex, by the way. And we managed to agree on 4 points that the blockchain it's fixing or solves in the gaming space. So first of all, blockchain solves many things that traditional system can't. But in gaming, as Sandbox is a metaverse, which is just a fancy word for a game, solves a couple of things. Ownership. First of all, if you play Fortnite, for example, or CSGO or whatever, and you buy an item, you don't really own that item. If the server of Fortnite goes down, you lost your item. On the other hand, on the blockchain gaming, when you buy an item, usually it's in the form of an NFT, you own it in your wallet. No one, not even the owners of the project, can change it or take that from you. Only the ones that have the private key. Then we can move on to immutability. Once the artist or creators develop on blockchain, put something on the blockchain, that thing cannot be changed or taken away. So that in that way, we protect the artist's rights and value. And if we are discussing about value, we are discussing about money. So that's another point that blockchain solves. Monetization unlocks new ways to monetize your art or your creation. For example, in the sandbox, I'm giving that as an example as I'm working there. You can list your creation on our marketplace and earn, we don't have any middleman, so you earn everything. Plus, you can get money also from royalties, which are just percentages that you set in the contract that you will get on every sale. It's a percentage that you will set, is set by the artist or creators. And the last point I want to mention is interoperability. So, as I mentioned, we are on a blockchain. We are actually on the Ethereum blockchain. For more technical people, we are on an L2 called Polygon. If other games implement the same mechanics for login with your wallet, for example, you can play with the characters or skin you buy from the sandbox or create on other games, and you have endless possibilities here. Of course, that's not only a sandbox thing. Ubisoft, for example, I read recently that they are trying to create blockchain mechanics to give more ownership to gamers. Also, another good example is Decentraland, which is very similar with Sandbox. You can buy and sell lands and create your virtual experience. In this way, you give more ownership for the creators and for the player experience. We try to use these techniques or mechanics in order to make gaming better, give ownership to the players, and this is only proudly made in Timișoara by our team.
Yeah, amazing, right? So only talking here, like, I hope everyone understands that there is a very strong technical community in Romania, like blockchain community. So we have Marius, you guys have like around 20, 30
Yes,
developers, like blockchain developers, full-time, that they are like coding and like are under like basically one of the biggest metaverse ecosystem. We have Alex, right, like building blockchains, supply chain for one of the biggest company in the world. Raluca is like with her project is building 21 buildings, right? Amazing. Amir,
Neighbor country.
neighbor country, like talent management platform, like podcasting. And by the way, there is this QR code, and I highly encourage you to scan it, put some, like any question that you would have, because we will be having like 10 minutes like for a Q&A. I'm having like, and we are just like 5 of us here, and like there are so many other use cases around, you know, pharma, transportation, digital identity, certificates, art, and so on. So there are also other ways of like how blockchain can help our world. But maybe one other use case is that I want to talk about is around communities and how blockchain enables community to govern themselves through tokens, right? Through this, the fact that the blockchain allows us to tokenize everything and track and have digital identity on chain, right? On this distributed database, it cannot be changed. It's public, it's secure. It also allows community to start govern themselves in a very transparable manner, and also based on this voting mechanism that can be done, it's able to, like the communities are able to push initiatives, like again, in an automated way. And why this is important? It's important both on private sector and public sector. Imagine the people, like people in a country being able to vote if they want to go on a war or not. Because like many times, or like if they want to build a highway or not, right? And you would have the possibility of the people to express themselves like very easily in a very easy manner around the public decisions, right? And then through this voting that is happening in a very transparable manner, being able to push in an automatic way through these smart contracts in the end, how the treasury of the state, of the public institution can happen. On a private level, we have, through this voting mechanism, we have the possibility for a private company to work as cooperatives, meaning basically skipping the management level, that's C level, like the directors and so on, and have the ability for the actual employees to govern themselves, right? And accept contracts, accept, I don't know, deals and so on, and get rewards. This concept in the blockchain world is called DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, meaning organizations that are run through automated process, right? Based on this voting that it's happening underneath. Yes, and I'm actually having a practical example. So, for example, I'm right now co-founding investment fund that it's run as a community, right? And you might know about VCs and the traditional investment funds where there is all these financial institutions that are putting their money in a pool, and then they have a team that is then finding deals and then distributes the money on their behalf. How blockchain is helping us to actually bring this to another level is that actually we are able to enable everyone that's coming with the funds to actually vote on what deals they would want to invest into, right? So it's almost the cooperative that it's enabling. And there are actually many countries in the world that have already legislation for recognizing these cooperative companies, like US, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Singapore, Dubai, Canada, right? Basically the same countries that are leading the innovation usually. Yeah, so that's a couple of use cases for the blockchain. Let's see if we have any questions. Otherwise, I'm having one more. Let's see. Okay, there are a couple of. That's a good one. What are the main legal challenges rolling out a blockchain startup or crypto startup in Europe?
You look after me because we are highly regulated as a company. So from my point of view, it's not, at this moment, it's easy to start a startup in Europe because we have clarity on the legal frameworks that we have to be aligned to. First, it's MiCA. Some of you have heard about MiCA. This MiCA will be start being implementing 1st of January. And simply said, in this legal framework, you will have to identify what type of tokens you are creating, what type of crypto assets are you creating, declare that you are creating this type of crypto assets, and you have a long set of rules on how to inform everybody around you, the community, the investor, and so on, about what type of token are you working with and how they should interact with you on this token. So this is MiCA. We know it's coming. We know what implies. It's a little bit expensive to understand how to implement it, but we know it. And we also have in Europe DRT pilot regime, which is a legal framework addressing those tokens that have really a clear value in the real world and will be classified as being a financial instrument. For example, if you sign a contract of investment, you say in that contract that I'm putting 5,000 euro in this investment. And the company that you are putting that money with, it's telling in the contract that will give you back 7,000 euro in 2 years. So it's very clear that if you are tokenizing this contract has a real value in the world. It's a financial instrument. So you have to look at the DLT pilot regime, understand it, and operate under it. It's expensive, but it's clear because Eurostar, by regulating stuff, not necessarily building stuff, we are building under the regulation that we know that is coming.
Lovely. I think it's good to have regulation, right? Because it means predictability.
For investors, it's extremely good because we are in a safe base. For entrepreneurs, it's hard, but we will get it.
Another one, what are the risks of using blockchain? Maybe Marius, Alex?
Well, I think the biggest risk is that if you are not a technical person, you can lose your private key and lose all your funds.
Or you add one extra digit to the money that you're transferring, and instead of like 10, you're sending, I don't know, $10,000, and there's no way to get it back.
For me, another risk will be the fact that working on the enterprise level, there are a lot of deals taking place between, for example, companies and their providers, their suppliers. So me, myself, as a company owner, I wouldn't want for one of the suppliers to know what prices I am using for a different supplier with which maybe I'm having a deal for like multiple years or better like trust. And we can now encrypt the data. We can make transactions which have like encrypted data. But the biggest risk is that there is a thought that maybe in next 5, 10, 50 years, that data is going to be decrypted and is going to have proper consequences. So right now, our thought is like how we can benefit of all the blockchain use cases, traceability, immutability, decentralization, but in the same time to keep some things private. Because I don't think like any data should be public.
Yeah, there is another one which I think in my mind it's simple. What do you think will happen when banks will want a piece of it and want to join the game?
I think they already did join
the game. They are in the game.
BlackRock ETF, and Trump just recently started a project called, I believe, Liberty Financial, and they just sold around $200 million in just few hours, and that's the ex-presidents of United States. So when you also look at fintechs apps like again Revolut, now it's integrated, but the misconception is everyone thinks blockchain or DeFi will replace the financial system, but it's not the case. It's actually they're going to work parallel to each other for the better, I would say, customer satisfaction.
And I would add here that every major central bank right now it's working on implementing blockchain. I don't know if you are aware, like if you know the term CBDC, means central bank digital currencies. Basically, both Fed and like the European Central Bank and like the Chinese, Japanese, and everyone right now is working on translating their currencies in digital world. Surprise, using blockchain. So we will have in a few years, I guess, the euro, the dollars as digital currencies, right? Using the blockchain technology. Basically, underneath would be a crypto asset or like more or less. And how that helps, basically, it will enable all these central banks deploying all the monetary policies in a matter of seconds, right? Everything will be digital, like all the money will be digital, and then in a matter of seconds, they can play with the inflation, with the deflation, with everything, right? With the supply, liquidity, and like traceability. Every dollar, like because will be on the blockchain, we'll know that it went from me to Amir, then Amir bought, I don't know, something from Alex, and like everything would be traceable. which I don't know, like if it's good or bad, but that's another thing that's happening. So the banks, the short is that the banks are already in the game. I guess we are at the end of the panel. Thank you so much for being here, for like the amazing speakers that we have. One more thing is that we have proof of attendance NFT that's done by one of our like blockchain builders from here of like Timișoara, Lucian. If you want to have it, like it will be. It's on all the screens, like a proof of attendance, an NFT that you are getting. If you want to have a proof that you have attended this conference, is a thing in blockchain. It's like another thing that we are playing with. Like, so yeah, I highly encourage you to download it if you want. So yeah, that was it. Thank you so much, and I hope it was useful. Like we were able to bring a bit of like light. There are other questions, but I'm encouraging you to maybe spend a bit of time with the speakers after that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.